Welcome back to Switch to Linux. It is Monday and it is time for another Linux Top 5. And today I wanted to take some time talking about Cinnamon Desktop. And we are going to look at 5 tips to get started with the Cinnamon Desktop, which is the desktop that I recommend if you're coming from Windows and making a move to Linux. Find something with the Cinnamon Desktop. Now, of course, this is developed by the Linux Mint team, and that is my favorite distribution, so you can check that out. Of course, I'm running Cinnamon right now on Arch as well, and there's great builds on a variety of other distributions as well. So what we're going to be looking at today should count for any of the different Cinnamon desktops, no matter which distribution. There's going to be one thing I might show you here that is exclusive to Linux Mint that I know of, and if it's not, please correct me in the comments down below. But let's go ahead and get started. Number 1, drivers. Linux usually has very good support, much better than most other operating systems out there, but there is the occasional time you're going to find a driver that's not going to work. You will find errors with some NVIDIA drivers, some of the brand new AMD graphics drivers. You will find some things like on lower end laptops, you'll find wireless adapters and touchpads on your mice are generally going to foul up a little bit. So those are the types of issues we kind of need to start with. Now, if your internet devices, if your internet drivers aren't working, I always like to keep around these USB wireless adapters because you can plug these in. Your computer will spot these guys. Generally, I've never seen one of these that Linux doesn't work well with. And you can plug that in. You can also bridge the internet off of your phone by plugging a wire in. There's other ways that you can get internet to your computer in a short term, even if you don't have an Ethernet port, in order to get your drivers working. And then once you get in to do that, then you're going to want to come on over and have a look at the drivers. This one is the one that is going to be specific to your Linux Mint or your other Ubuntu-based distributions that are running this. So of course I hit over to the driver manager. It's going to update the cache, so it's updating software lists. And then what it's going to do is it's going to scan your system and see if there's anything that you have. So in this case here, you can see it gives me some VirtualBox guest editions, and this is because this test machine here is done in a VirtualBox. So I can select do not use this device, or I can go with whichever one of these. So you can see that there's 2 different versions in here, and you can kind of tell from the numbers. This is from the 1804.1 or 1804.3. Generally, the most recent one is going to work best, but poke around and see which one. So if you had a wireless adapter that wasn't working, you would see that show up. If you have a touchpad that's not working, you would see that show up. Now, if you're not on an Ubuntu-based distribution, you're going to have to look up on your distro how to install the drivers. There are some other tools that will make it simple, but this is one of these things that's kind of exclusive to your Linux Mint team part. Number 2, panels. Of course, your panels are the guys sit at the bottom or the top and the bottom, or on the left or the right, wherever you want them to be, because in Linux you can customize things. These are the information that contain our clocks, our calendars, our shortcuts, our task lists, all of these types of things. And on Cinnamon, you can adjust your panels a number of different ways. You can, of course, come down, right-click, and there is panel edit mode down here. So you can actually edit your panels down here. So here's our modify panels. Here's panel settings. And then on your panel settings screen, this is where we can control what our panel looks like. Do you want it to auto hide it? Do you want to always show it? Or do you want to intelligently hide it? My personal preference is always show. That's okay, but if you like your auto hiding, your intelligent panel, you can go ahead and set those. You also have your height. You can set your height. So if you want to go like microscopic size panels, that's cool. If you want to go like a massive size panel, that's cool. Whatever works for you. I kind of like some of the defaults here. And then there's icon sizes, so you can determine your sizes here of your icons. Here's like 48, or we'll just scale to the panel optimally or scale exactly. Of course, I like the optimally. And then here's your center zones, right panel icon zones. Okay, and then we have other options. Now, the other thing is if you want to add another panel, you can go ahead and add a new panel, and then it gives you these guys here. You need to click the position where you want the panel. So if you want to do something where you have a top panel up here, now you have this ability to cycle between your panels. The colored one is going to be the one that's on your edit mode. So if I want to have a top panel, but maybe I want my top panel to be a little bit smaller, I can go ahead and do this. Maybe we'll do a smaller panel up at the top. Let's just, in fact, go down and knock it down to, it's too small. Let's go 25. 25 pixel panel. And then we can say, okay, well, that's okay for the panel. Now we're going to add applets to the panel. So applets are the variety of different things, everything from your icons, your task lists, your clocks, your calendars, and things like that. So depending on what you might want, you have a variety of different items already here, or you can click this download button, and what this is going to do is it's going to give you a list of things that are available for download. Now, some of these may not work quite as well, but at the same time, that's, it does give you extra functionality. Like there's the weather panel, which I think some people kind of say sucks. I don't know. I don't look at these quite as much. I kind of like my general basic panel here. But here's like a show desktop. You can have it already down there. Here's a settings applet. So let's go ahead and click my add. That's going to add our panel. So this jumps up here. That's where it added to because we are on editing the top panel, not the bottom panel. So with that, that's our settings. Let's see what else we might want to add. There's slideshow controls. Let's go ahead and add a trash icon. So it's going to add up there. And maybe a workplace switcher if you like to use those. Okay, so what you do is you want to drag these items. What I ended up doing is I turned off and then back on the editing panel that was kind of stacking everything over on the side. So now I can drag this around. You can see you can't drop it right here. You can see where that X is, but I can drop it into the center region, or I can go ahead and drop it all the way on the left region. So it's going to give you the icons where you can drop things at. So let's go ahead and we'll leave that there. Maybe we'll grab our settings panel and set it there. So go ahead and turn off our panel mode. And so this should give us a variety of different settings there, which is, to me, kind of a useless panel setting. But anyway, it gives you what you want. So here's our trash up here. So I should be able to right click over here. I can empty trash or I can open trash. So there's how you can adjust your panels. Of course, if I wanted to, I could, move my clock up around. Put a clock up in the top, maybe put some icon launchers up at the top. So this gives us the ability to have a variety of different things. Now, of course, the Linux, the Cinnamon 4.0 kind of mirrors how Windows has been running for a while, where now we have things like pinned to the desktop up here. And I'm not a personal fan of this. It is the modern trend, so I completely understand why they went this direction. I actually have a video telling you how to restore the original type panel where you have like a quick launch bars and then a task list. Now, if you are specifically on Linux Mint, you can actually go into the welcome screen, and one of the options inside of the welcome screen under first step is you have your desktop layout. This is the new modern one. You can actually go with a traditional layout as well. And if you do that, then it might not work because I've added an extra panel there. Okay, yep, so it did. Actually, what it did is it got rid of the panel. It basically reset the defaults there. So now it kind of returns me back to this functionality, which I think that this is a little bit more dated. And so I actually have a video on how to keep the modern look, which definitely, I agree, looks a lot better, but then how you can have this same exact functionality. So you can have a look at that video as well. Of course, that got rid of our top panel, but that's okay. Maybe I should have showed you that part first. But, such it is. That's how you can edit your panels. Number 3, theming. So theming on Linux is one of the cool features that I like. I've always loved messing with the theming on my computers. It was just something that I just enjoyed. Now, some people like this more, some people like this less. Some systems, yeah, there's very little you can do with theming. Some of them there's a little bit more. One of the reasons I love Cinnamon is it gives you this balance of having enough configurable options, but it also doesn't overwhelm you either. And so on Cinnamon, theming is actually controlled inside of your system settings. And then we have themes up here. Now, there's a few ways that you can get different themes in your system. So desktop kind of controls how everything looks here. We have our window borders, our icons, controls, mouse pointers, and things like this. Now, if you click into this, you can see we have a variety of things to choose from. Now, you might notice that I have a few other guys in here as well that you might not have seen. These were themes that I have installed separately. So you can install themes onto Cinnamon a couple ways. One of them is hit your add remove. It's going to ask you if you want to update your cache. So we're going to go ahead and do that. You can come down into this area here, and anything that you might want, you can just click the button over here. It's going to download it into your theme directory. So you can see it's installing the Sea Blue theme. Now, some of these themes come with an entire desktop. Some of them just comes with certain borders. Some of them just come with icons. It kind of is a hit and miss. So this is that theme that we had just selected. And let's see if there's anything else in here it gives us. It doesn't look like it's going to give us anything else. So no, all we get in this case is we get this look here, which is kind of cool. Now you might want different icons or whatever. I went ahead and actually downloaded some icon packs. So I installed this guy here, which is Arrow, and then there's Arrow Shell, and there's Arrow Dark. I kind of like this look here, but I'm like, well, these icons don't look quite right. So I went through and I found some icon packs that I could deal with. And so I grabbed this guy here, these Lila Dark icons. So here's your light gray versions. So now we have a theming system that kind of has this kind of like glassy type look to it, which is the type of setting that I like. Now, how did I install these ones? Since these ones were not available in the repository, and since we did not actually have any icons over here, you should be able to install some icons inside of your Synaptic Package Manager. Or if you're on like Manjaro, you might have something. Whoops, I typed my password in wrong. If you're on like Manjaro, you might have Pamak or something. You can actually generally come in here and look for icon themes and mouse themes. There's not usually a ton of them, but you might find some as you hunt down. The other place is you can actually go online and you can find different themes on different places. DeviantArt, Softpedia, a few other places. Open Desktop is another one. And then what you do is I got these guys here, and these were actually these are actually the themes that I did. You can do this with themes, mouse pointers, icons. You just download the zip files, and then you boot up your you can boot up your folder here. Now, if you don't have your hidden files, you can hold Control and push H on Cinnamon on pretty much any distro I know of. And then the folders you're going to look for is .icons is the system folder for icons. So this is where I threw my custom icon folders. And then we also have a .themes, and this is where I can throw my themes. And then anything on those are going to apply just to your local user. So these are installed locally. You can actually go into your file system and install them globally as well. I'll leave it to you to research where that exact directory is. But once you have theming, you can install theming just by dropping things into your configuration folders, or you can do them through the add remove system and the settings as well. So that's how you can adjust your theming. So now you can get a desktop setup that you like. Number 4, menus. Some people love the menus in your Linux distribution. Some people don't. We have the easy option to configure and edit our menus in Cinnamon. So Cinnamon comes with the basic menu that it comes with has your favorites over here on the side. We have our all applications. And then we can look for the various places that we are at. Now, you might find things like over here, if I look under Internet, I have things like Thunderbird here, but Evolution appears under Office. It's like, I wish I have OCD. Maybe I want both of my email applications to be in the same place. I don't care if they're Office or I don't care if they're Internet. Well, you can actually change where items are inside of your menu. Right-clicking on your menu icon, we have our Configure option. Now, this gives us different items for the panel. The menu gives different options for here. Do we show category icons? Do we show application icons? Favorite icons, bookmarks, what do we show? But if you click this Open Menu Editor, now you have the ability to move things around. So if I don't even want to display the games setting, I can actually turn it off just by clicking this button over here. And even if I have things inside of the games option, the games will never show up in my menu. All right, but now we wanted to talk about how I can move these around. So let's go ahead and take Evolution and put Evolution under Internet because that's where I might want it to be. I can hit Cut and cut this out of here and then go under Internet and I can hit Paste and then boohoo, we got Evolutions already there. Now I can also copy it if I want it to show up in both places. Maybe maybe you have a variety of different applications and a couple different users, and there's tools that somebody doesn't necessarily want. So maybe my friend that shares the computer with me uses Evolution. I use Thunderbird. I don't want Evolution showing up, so I can just deselect it on my individual user. And now when I close the menu, Evolution will just not show up anywhere. It just doesn't show up at all. Well, it's still showing up under Office for some reason. I'm not sure what's still showing up under Office. Maybe I didn't save the whole menu. Let's go and have a look at that real quick. Oh, it's still there. Oh, you know why? Because let's go ahead and do that. Turn it off from there. Turn it off from here as well. Close that. Now it should disappear. There we are. Now Evolution has vanished, so it's a way I can keep applications installed, but not have them show up on my individual setting. In my case, though, I like Evolution. I use Evolution, and I want to keep it inside of Internet, so now I can go ahead and just do that. So that's how I can adjust my menus. Now, if you don't like this particular menu setup, so here's under Internet, here's my Evolution. Of course, I can also edit what the menu will say as well. Now, if I don't like that particular menu setup, you can actually come down, add applets to the panel, and you have this Cinnamon menu. Now, this was one that you have to download. So you have to come over here into download and select the button here to download Cinnamon menu. But when you do this, highlight it, click your add, it's going to add it down here to the menu. This menu here is much the same, but you can see it has a different way of layouts. And there's a lot of different things that you can do with this one as well. So you can right click and configure this one as well. So here's your appearances. You can do a custom icon for it. You can open items whenever you hover over them. Here's your content and layout. So this is the menu editor. You can reset your menu categories if you want to. You can toggle different things. So there's different items that you can do. We have a grid and a list layout. We can show categories. How does it start up? Maybe if you want Office to start up, things like this. And then you can go ahead and do all these settings. I clicked the wrong button there. There you go. So now you can see that I have this option, and I can jump over to the grid layout or the list layout. So you have different menus in Cinnamon as well. If you want this one instead of this one, it's just a simple matter of edit the panel menu, drag this guy on over here, right-click the old one, and remove the menu. Turn off panel editing mode, and now we have this menu instead of our old menu. So you have a variety of different things that you can do within your menus. So editing your menus, configuring your menus, and changing your menu to a different type. Number 5, adjusting your desktop. There's a few items here you might want to do on your desktop. Do you want to toggle and show your certain desktop icons like your home, your computer, your network, your trash, things like that? Do you want those on your system or not? The other question is, would you like to, how do you want your icons to arrange? So this is one of the things Cinnamon has been working on since right before Cinnamon 4. And they've been working on better adjustments to how your menus or how your icons and things are laid out. So first, let's talk about your icon menus. So we want to come up, and I have no idea where it is in my settings here. I'm not used to this menu. All right, I'll have to play around with this menu here. But over here, inside your preferences, settings, desktop, this is where you have some of your settings. So we can turn on or turn off different items. So here's your computer. Here's your home. I find on Linux, on Windows, I like the computer showing up. On Linux, it's not as useful to me. But I do like the home, the trash, the mounted drives, and the network are all things I love having on my desktop for the things that I do. All right, so you can go ahead and show those. You also have the ability to show desktop icons on primary monitor only. You can do no desktop icons if you don't like them at all. Nice option for you. You can show them on non-primary monitors only, or you can show them on all monitors. So you can have a variety of different desktop icons there. Now, the other feature, and this is one of the things that I think, unfortunately, Cinnamon is starting to lose track of how many settings they have. There is a second place to edit things, and that's by right-clicking and hit Customize on the desktop. This will give us the ability to adjust our icon size and our icon spacing. So this guy here is our icon spacing on the bars. So your spacing on the height, spacing on the width. So you have some spacing options there to pick from, and then you have your sizes. Now we don't have like Dolphin, which does just very linear grade. I don't really think that this is a problem. We do have 5 options for the size of your icons. I personally like the normal. You can pick the ones you want. Now you have the auto arrange option, which will just automatically sort everything for you. I hate that, so I turn that off. I love the fact that it's an option for us though. And then we can choose whether we want them to go horizontal or vertical, and whether we want to sort them by name, by size, by type, or by date. Now, of course, if I turn off auto arrange, I am absolutely free to move things around anywhere I want. One of the little bugs that I have found on Cinnamon lately is sometimes grabbing things doesn't work quite as well as I'd like it to, especially if you've just copied something to the desktop. You might need to grab the name instead of the icon to drag it. It's just kind of one of those little things that I've noticed about the Cinnamon desktop in recent years. It's not always been that way, and it's something that seems to be bugged in. We can also reset our grid spacing and do anything else that we want to do inside of here. And of course, here's our options for our desktop settings as well. So that's how you can get started on your desktop. So here we've covered fixing your drivers, adjusting your panels, doing your theming, your menus, and your desktop settings. Let me know if you like this video and if I should do this for other desktop environments as well. So with that, thanks for coming along on this Switch to Linux video, and we hope to see you in the future. Thank you for making it to the end of this Switch to Linux video. You can have a look at another video right on over here. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel or to Think Life Media, which is my own personal support page. Thank you for watching, and I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux.